In section 12.3, we are going to be dividing polynomials using polynomial long division. So really quick, let's review how to do regular long division with numbers before we try to do long division with polynomials. So first we're going to divide 371 by 3 using long division. So you put the 3 on the outside and the 371 on the inside. And then you ask yourself, how many times does 3 go into 3? Or another way you can say that, which is kind of weird, is what do I need to multiply 3 by to get a 3? And that would be a 1. And then you multiply the 1 and the 3 together and you get a 3. And then you're going to subtract the 2 and you get a 0. But then you bring down the 7. And then you do the same thing all over again. How many times does 3 go into 7? Twice. And then we multiply 2 times 3 together to get 6. And then we subtract and get 1. And we bring down this other 1. And 3 goes into 11 3 times. 3 times 3 is 9. We subtract and we get 2. Now, since there's nothing else to bring down, we know that 2 is our remainder. So what we can do with that 2 is we can say that the answer is 123. You take the remainder 2 and you put it over what you were originally dividing by 3. So it's 123 2/3. Dividing polynomials is the exact same thing. So let's try to use long division with our next problem. We have f of x equals 3x to the 4th minus 5x cubed plus 4x minus 6, and we're going to divide that by x squared minus 3x plus 5. Okay, so we're going to take the polynomial that we're dividing by, x squared minus 3x plus 5, and put him on the outside. And then on the inside, we're going to put 3x to the 4th minus 5x cubed. Notice that we don't have an x squared term, so we're going to plug in a 0 for x squared. You should have everybody. If you start at x to the 4th, you should have an x to the 4th, an x to the 3rd, an x squared. We have a regular x, and then finally a minus 6. Okay, so when we do polynomial long division, we always look at the first terms. So I'm only going to be looking at the x squared and the 3x to the 4th. And I'm going to ask myself, what do I have to multiply x squared by to get 3x to the 4th? Well, I'm going to have to multiply him by a 3, and to make an x squared and x to the 4th, I have to multiply by an x squared. So I'm going to multiply by 3x squared. And the reason I'm writing 3x squared where I'm writing it is because I want him over the other x squared that's in the equation. So now I'm going to take this 3x squared and I'm going to multiply every term by him. So that gives me 3x to the 4th minus 9x cubed plus 15x squared. So now, just like in regular division, we're going to subtract. But since we're dealing with a polynomial, when we want to subtract, what we really do is we change all the signs and then we add it together. So that's going to give me 0, which is good. These two terms should always cross out. 4x cubed minus 15x squared. And then, just like in regular long division, I'm going to take this next term, 4x, and I'm going to drop him down. And now we just repeat the process all over again. So I'm going to use x squared and I'm going to see how many times, or what do I need to multiply x squared by to get 4x cubed. So I need to multiply him by a 4 and an x. And now I'm going to take this 4x and I am going to multiply him to everybody. So I'm going to get 4x cubed minus 12x squared plus 20x. And now I'm going to need to change all the signs. So this will become a minus, that'll become a plus, and this will become a minus. So now I have, first two should always cancel, negative 3x squared minus 16x, and then bring down the negative 6, and we get to do it again. So now I'm going to see how many times does x squared go into negative 3x squared, or what do I have to multiply x squared by to get negative 3x squared? So I'm going to need to multiply it by just a negative 3. And now we're going to multiply everybody by negative 3. So that is going to give me negative 3x squared plus 9x minus 15. And now we need to change all the signs and then add them together. So we end up with negative 25x plus 9. So if you notice, we have run out of numbers to drop down, and also x squared is too big to go into negative 25x. So negative 25x plus 9 is actually our remainder. So what we're going to do is we're going to do the same thing that we did in regular long division. We're going to take our remainder, negative 25x plus 9, and we're going to put a plus sign and put negative 25x plus 9 over what we were originally dividing by, which was x squared minus 3x plus 5. So it's kind of crazy and it's kind of weird, but this whole thing is your answer. This entire polynomial, 3x squared plus 4x minus 3 plus negative 25x plus 9 is our answer. Try these next two problems on your own and see if you can divide the polynomials. Replay the video to see the solution worked out. Alright, first we need to multiply the x by x squared so it gets to be an x cubed. Then we multiply, so x cubed minus 2x squared. Switch the signs and add, drop down the negative 7x. We need to multiply x by 7x to get a 7x squared. Distribute. So 7x squared minus 14x. Change the signs. Drop down the 2. We need to multiply x by 7 to get 7x. Multiply. Change the signs. So we get 16 as our remainder. So we put 16 over x minus 2, and the top is our solution. For number 2, we need to multiply 2x by a 2x squared for it to become a 4x cubed. Then we just have to multiply by one term. Change the signs. It cancels out, so we just drop down the 8x squared. To get 2x to become an 8x squared, we need to multiply by a 4x. And then we multiply and get 8x squared. Change the sign, so it just cancels. Drop down the 10x. And all we need to multiply by is 5. Multiply through. So we get a remainder of 0. So the answer is just 2x squared plus 4x plus 5.